Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity to practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, so welcome back to Reframe Mindset podcast. My name is Colin Smith Brooks, and this episode came to me, and I thought it was a pretty good episode to really enlighten to talk about since going through this pandemic and reaching where I've reached now. I've seen a lot of things that that the average person that is trying to go, or the average Jamaican would trying to go on their road to success may not know, but since I've kind of gone through most of it, I kind of share what I've experienced, so you can have an idea that okay, these are some of the things I'll expect when I'm trying to go to my road of success. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into it. So some of the things that I said prevent the average Jamaican from progressing, in my opinion, it's the first thing I see, the proving the negative stereotypes to be true. So with that, there's a lot of, when other people think about Jamaican, there's a lot of stereotypes that average the average non-Jamaican person will have about a Jamaican person. And one of the things that prevents us as a people to like progress is proving all those stereotypes right. And when you basically doing that now, you kind of nullify all the positive things. For example, I think this is the only example I'm trying to give. But if, we are a third world country. So by that sense, there's a certain stereotype. We're considered poorer, less smart, and stuff like that. So for example, when we progress, when we have more people graduating from university and stuff like that, and we're not putting our knowledge and stuff like that to progress ourselves to better places, the negative stereotype becomes is true, and then nullify all the work that we have put in to become, university graduates and stuff like that. Because if you're a university graduate and stuff like that, for example, and your personality and your approach to life is still like the average Jamaican, like the average Jamaican. First thing, the average Jamaican will not kind of look up to you because the progress you have made, doesn't, you don't reflect the progress, you don't reflect the change, and say, you don't make them feel like, say, yeah, damn, it look like university is really a worthwhile experience because this a person, yeah, I know him or her when they before university, and when he come out, I never signed this stay, man look like in a higher place, me. But if you come out and you just look the same, you come out and act the same way. You just basically prove the stereotype. It just basically come back and prove the stereotype. So that's one of the first thing that I've seen, where to progress you have to be aware of the negative stereotypes, and this is not to say you're leaving your culture and stuff like that, but you can't, you have to evolve, even though later on you'll realize that evolving will come with a lot of negative things as well. But you have to really think about that, or you have to really accept that, or you just stay the same forever. So the second thing, bad company. So my father, my grandmother, my rich people, and a lot of successful people. Yeah, a few sayings. So my grandmother always say, boom, keep good company or none at all. That's and then my father and other people always say, yo, show me your company and I'll tell you who you are. And that is truly true. Basically me, going through school and stuff like that. And things like that. And where I'm at now. The company that I was in either stunted or helped my growth. Most of my success, when I was in university, thanks to somebody that I met in the university that had a growth mindset, that I met in my faculty. He helped me push me to better standing in the university space. I know because before then I was a pretty lackadaisical person that never really takes school serious. I just do what was needed to pass and then get through. But he kind of pushed me more, that helped me learn more and push myself more. And that's certain things. And right now, so for example, right now I progress far and I have graduate from university, got my driver's license, and then now boom, I'm unofficially a homeowner. All of that is as a result of me leaving all those companies that weren't of the same growth mindset and then looking for different companies, different people that inspire me to push forward to a big, better and higher place. So, and because of that, right now my circle may be smaller, but I'm at a better place, better place. And if you as a person isn't ready to actually leave those companies that is not moving forward, or not only that, you have to have the ability to say, boom, you're not really going forward, I'm trying to move forward. If you're not moving forward, we just have to meet up when I, reach where I want to reach and then stuff like that, So that's the second thing. You have to really look at the company you're in to see if it's actually a good company or a bad company to be associated with. Boom. The third thing, waiting on luck or a 1 in a million opportunity chance of an opportunity to change your life, So boom. In my country, you have things like cash pot and stuff like that. My family usually participate in that as well and stuff. But, so I can say it from first-hand experience that the progress that my family made was, some of it can be attributed to, they will say, boom, attributed to luck from one of those times they win cash pot or something like that. Majority of it is through them being consistent about what they do. When my grandmother usually do farming and stuff like that, she consistently do her farming and stuff like that. She get better at farming and it start to work and stuff like that. And then 1 and 2 times when she do the thing, the gambling, and she luck that help her. That's like a miracle, as they will say, miracle that she needed to help. But majority of our family success is due to us having our skill and using it to our best ability to move forward. It wasn't much of a 1 in a million chance opportunity where we just where like one of us win the lotto and that change our life. No, it's through us doing what we can with when we get a little reward, a little pay, we use it to build a solid foundation for the rest of the family future. Then when the future generation of our family do better than the previous generation, we then in a better position to help the older generation to progress further. And then that's how we, got to where we are. It wasn't a 1 in a million chance that we were waiting on. You see me? So that's one of the next thing. Boom. The next one now is not believing in yourself enough to put yourself in a situation to be successful. So you have the saying of luck. I think luck is preparation and hard work at the same place, or something like that. But there's a lot of, what I realize is there's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of jobs. And I always say, people always tell me this because I'm looking to not really do a job, I just want to make money doing my passion. That's what I've been trying to explain. But people in this job mindset trying to force me to get a job and stuff like that. But they're looking around and see there's a lot of opportunities to get a job and doing a better place. But you not putting yourself in the best position to get those opportunities is preventing you from progressing. So, for example, if one of the things that I realized when getting a job and stuff like that was the resume for me, and it's through me reiterate. I've still haven't figured out the resume formula, as they would say. But when through me learning about podcasts, seeing it as a good opportunity for me to put my skills to use and help me benefit, it doing the podcast kind of open a lot more opportunities for me that if I was out here still trying to struggle and get a job and stuff like that, I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't really. The podcast has made me more known in the real world, in the working world and stuff like that, which give me a lot of opportunity and more ways to show my skills and what I'm capable of. And then not only that, it also give me the leeway to allow me to practice some of the much needed skills that I will need to actually do well in the marketplace, so because when I leave university and stuff like that, maybe you have certain knowledge and skill, but it's not refined for the workplace, because the workplace is a different tempo, mood and stuff like that. So you have to. That's one of the things you have to do, adjust to the tempo and stuff like that. So the podcast gives me ability to refine my craft, give me time to refine my craft, so that when I actually do put myself in these opportunities, these places to make a good impression, I do it. And then even if that doesn't result in me pushing forward or progress, leaving a good impression, and that one opportunity may help me further down the line, yeah. So that's it for that one. The next one, waiting for outside validation or help before you start improving yourself. This is the next thing we realize that no one is going to come and help you, and when they help you, it may not be in the way you want it, So you basically have to start make a vision for yourself where you want to be and stuff like that, and then try with the smallest things you can do. For example, for the first thing, clean your room, and then boom, clean your house, make a house, put the house in order and stuff like that. First, those simple things can basically you practicing your way to improve yourself out of where you are. And then when people see a change and stuff like that, some may try to help, some may not, but you taking the initiative, regardless of how the outside validation go, if you're positive or negative, you yourself know that, okay, it's not up to none of them outside that's going to help me. It's up to me. I have to help myself out of my situation. The next thing is not valuing the opinions of those that came before you. And then this, to kind of explain that fact, I have to talk about the driver's license. So boom, my driver's license. In getting the driver's license, there in Jamaica there's two ways. You can basically buy, you pay somebody and you do this and that and you get it. Or you take it the right way, you learn the road code, then you take the test, then you practice how to drive, then you take the driving test and then do it. So there's a lot of people that take the short way and and just buy the license and stuff like that. But one thing when my grandmother was telling me that it's better do it the long way and then make sure that you get it certain. And not only that you're getting certain, that you have to try to learn the things so that you actually kind of more be competent on the road rather than taking the short way and then you end up in a worse position, you're getting accidents and stuff like that because you haven't really learned, you rush the process. So that's, and then not only that, my grandmother being older than me and more experienced in the real world, she taught me about some things that you don't really learn in school that kind of helped me when I was alone at my uncle and stuff like that to help me assimilate into the environment. These are things that you would learn if you're in school. You just need somebody that was out in the field, you need a Jamaican person that was out there, working and to get what she have, she have her house and stuff like where she built and stuff like that. So learning about how she got from where she started from to where she is now give you knowledge of two things. One, how hard the journey will be and some of the mistakes that they have made that you don't have to make to get yourself in a better situation and stuff like that. And all of that is just you talking to elderly people that have come before you and learn from them and learn from their mistakes. But if you don't do that, then you will go out in the world, make the same mistakes, end up in a worse situation than them because, their time is not your time. We could technically be in a worse situation now because with the corona and inflation and all these things, when you feel worse, feel harder and stuff like that. So having the knowledge of someone before you can really help you a lot. The next thing, looking for entertainment more than education. So, we are a country that loves to party and stuff like that, and don't value education, the school system and stuff like that much. And it shows. It shows a lot, especially in this corona time. It shows the corona situation kind of shows our indiscipline and our inability to stay disciplined to come out of a pandemic, because the reason why we're in this pandemic for so long is because the people refuse to listen to the rules, do the right thing, and then not only that, take the time to learn about the virus and learn about the best situation for them to protect themselves. And our inability to do that is due to us not being disciplined about learning. From in our school days, we're very indisciplined in our learning and stuff like that, and then it shows in the real world when it's a life and death situation. So not valuing education and valuing entertainment more than education may cost you in the real world, may cost you your life. So that's something you have to really think about. The next thing, we haven't seen success that inspire us to push forward. What one thing I've learned about Jamaica is that we basically have similar of the same things. Many people have bars, shops, wholesales, and then stuff like that. But we haven't really seen people go out beyond that more, that say, okay, I want to do that, and then inspire another person to say, okay, let me go and learn what it takes to be that kind of success, So many of the people coming out and think being an entrepreneur, it does basically open a business, a shop or a business and stuff like that, and then and sell stuff, and you say, okay, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur and stuff like that. But there's a lot of different ways to become successful, and if you don't really know of the various ways, you end up doing one of the normal ways, and then I told you that you may not even like that way, you may not even like that way, so you end up doing something you hate for a long period of time. Next thing is follow illegal and get rich quick schemes. So it's one of those things where you basically go, Jamaica, a lot of things we do, scamming, robbing, killing, and all those stuff. And then in the long run, my experience in the real world, from let's say university, all those things are short-lived. You may do it and then you feel you're successful and high in the moment. But long term, none of those things don't stick, and you end up in a worse situation with a bad reputation. And then not only that, you wake up every day with more stress, knowing that you're on the wrong side of the law. So it's not worth it to do any of those things. It's not worth it. 10. Now, the next thing, not aware of the hate you will receive for progressing and how to deal with it. One thing when I've started on this journey, what I've never realized was the hate. For one, I was never really a popular person. I was really more known and stuff like that. I'm a friend and then family and stuff like that, but I wasn't really known. But when you start on this journey, you realize your friend turn on you, your friend don't really support you. And then I told you that your family don't really understand why you're doing these things, because they're just used to a certain mindset. So you're trying to break a curse, a generational curse, but they don't understand it. So they talk you down and try to do everything they talk about. Then your friends basically don't support you, turn around, become one of your greatest enemy and person trying to push you back. And you have to see this and say, yo, okay, you have to push through. And this kind of is a very important time, because it kind of shows who your friends and family are, so that when you reach a certain place, given that you have become successful, because many of these people, we have tried and pushed through, and one of those friends or stuff like that our family end up killing us. We become one of the person that kill us. So given that you come through and you come out alive, you kind of get an idea that where those people in your life stands, so that you can make better decision on who you allow in your circle and who you don't allow in your circle and stuff like that. Yeah, man. So the next thing is not being able to be comfortable alone. This journey to progressing and success and to riches, if you may want, is going to be a lonely journey, and you have to be able to be comfortable alone to actually go the distance, because for one, many of your friends won't be able to go on this journey with you. For one, it's maybe because you're making your own lane. People may not understand that lane. People may not want to invest the things that you have to invest to get to where you want to be. And then not only, so it's going to be a very lonely journey, and you have to be comfortable being alone. So before you can say, okay, I'm going to go on this journey, But when you have become comfortable being alone now, that's many of the problems solved. And it avoids a lot of the previous things where I said a lot of hate and stuff like that. It gives you more opportunity to make it out alive, because when you become comfortable alone, you distance yourself from all those people. so that you can actually view, when you make the progress, you can view from a distance to see how these people are reacting to my success. Are they liking it? Are they hating it? And then from there, you can say, okay, yeah, best we avoid this person, and best I keep a mental note of the way people are reacting, so you can know how to react better to them, you know. Mm. Now, the next thing is not knowing how to compete professionally in a business or professional marketplace. This is a major problem in Jamaica, and that's one of the reasons why we as a country is not really growing business wise and economic wise, because when we enter a business and marketplace, we have competition, and the average Jamaican don't really know how to compete professionally. You know, we get jealous, envy, and stuff like that, and people end up killing people over this and that and stuff like that. So we don't really know how to compete professionally. So we end up doing a lot of wrongdoing, immoral stuff to basically get ahead. And when you get ahead, go back to what I said before, follow illegal and get rich scheme, it doesn't really worth it in the end, you know. Boom. So, and the last thing now, but no, let me just continue. But the professional way is to knowing that while you'll get competition in the person in your business stuff like that, remember that your sole focus is supposed to be on delivering good products to your customer. That's the main purpose. So when you realize that, then you can put yourself in the right mindset to say, okay, this person is my competitor now, but remember, my sole focus is to provide good products to my customer. Mm-hmm. And the last thing is not realizing until too late that it's not really money that you really want, but peace, quiet, and freedom to do what you love. And that's one of the things that end up where there's a lot of people that end up becoming rich and successful and end up here that they kill themselves and stuff like that. And it's because on this journey to success and riches and stuff like that, you realize that the riches, the success, the fame, the everything is not worth it. Wasn't worth it, and it doesn't fill the void that you have. But one thing that I've learned on this journey is not that. It's not really the money that you, because majority of us, we are coming out of poverty and stuff like that. So, our thing where I say, okay, money will solve many of my problems. And yes, it will, but one, it will carry more problems. Like, for example, my success now, for example, my unofficial homeowner, I have a higher bills and stuff that I have to pay, and those things can end up stressing you and stuff like that. But it's not meant to deter you from going a road to success and making a lot of money. But when you make these money and stuff like that, you should also think about transitioning yourself into a place that is peaceful, quiet, and able to allow you to do what you love the most in a as best of environment as possible. For example, my podcast stuff and thing. Right now my PC is not working, but when my PC is set up and thing, and I'm in my house and stuff, and with a good internet, I'm at a really sort of comfortable environment to basically record my podcast and edit my podcast, do my gaming let's play and stuff like that, do my Twitch streaming and stuff like that in a very comfortable area. And that's doing the things that I love the most. Play games and recording podcasts while also being a very comfortable place that allows me to express myself freely, So that's one of the main things that you're not going to realize it because, money, everybody says money. But over time you realize that's one of the most important things that you want, and the sooner you realize it, the sooner the plans that you'll make will allow you to put yourself in this situation where you're more free, where money is not your master, but it's a slave that it's your friend, or what they will say is make your money your friend, and they can help you to put in a better place, So that's it for all the things that I've said about, the things that prevents the average Jamaican from progressing, in my opinion. I hope you can take one of these into account and help you go into a better situation. Thank you. Mm. Oh, wow. The anchor updated, so it's recording longer than 30 minutes. Yeah, so this part is kind of embarrassing, but yes, thank you for listening, and I look forward for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
This episode is a nice reminiscing episode, where I talk about my high school days again, and how um taking exam. We usually have this national um exam that that place us into, that is used. So it's a national exam, but every what usually happen was every time when those exams come around, I usually get really sick. I really sick. Yeah, man. So to get it started, you have to go back to around grade 10. So around grade 10 now is where, if you have one of those earlier podcast listeners that listened to how I eventually got my degree, which is biochemistry.